Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very, very special Ask the Expert, exclusively for those registered on the Knowledge Base Network. First of all, please let me give you in the name of all MyHeritage, huge thank you for being here today and for being so loyal followers of us and our knowledge base. I see a few of my groupies following me also here, and I am very happy to see everybody here. My name is Daniel Horowitz, and I am the genealogy expert at MyHeritage. Uh, Besides other things, I am lecturing a lot virtually these days, but I also used to go to conference, so probably we met in one of the past. I'm dedicated to genealogy since 1986, and I had the pleasure to be the teacher and study guide editor of the Family History Project, searching for my roots in Venezuela for 15 years. Today, here in Israel, I am involved in digitization and transcriptions projects and volunteering for the Israel Genealogy Research Association. Okay, and now that we are all clear, I'm going to start by making clear that unfortunately you send actually too many questions. Some of them were extremely personal and detailed, and we had like about 500 questions or something like that. I will not be able, of course, to answer all of them. I will do my best, but in the meantime, I hope that you all find something interesting to learn from all the questions. You can also use the question panel from the website or from the webinar in order not only to say hi, as you are already doing, but to write your questions as well. Okay, once we have done that, let's start with your specific questions. And we received a lot of questions, as I said, during the registration. Alexandra was asking about any experience with finding missing grandparents with very few close cousins on the DNA matches. And I'm going to guess that Alexandra never knew her grandparents for whatever reason, and this is actually a common question from adoptees or people that for whatever reason never met their biological relatives. So my answer to Alexandra and all of you is yes, of course, MyHeritage has a lot of experience. We have helped a lot of people on the adoptive cases finding their family. How do we do it? Is very easy. We actually take all those DNA matches and we start contacting them and help them by putting their locations on their family trees. Let me bring probably one of my slides that I have here about the DNA, and probably that will help you with this. Let me do this. So whenever you have a match, MyHeritage will give you the estimate relationship, okay? And then you can click there and see this map, and you will know more or less where the match is located in the family tree. So let's say that I have a match or you have a match with this person, and this person could be any of those purple dots, but because the age of the person is very similar to your age, it's probably a third, a fourth, or a fifth cousin. So all what you need to do is to ask this person or help this person to build a family tree big enough that will go to the great-great-grandparents. Now, this is not impossible. It may sound in some cases difficult, but definitely not impossible. And then you need to start working together on all the descendants of this common ancestor to try to find your grandparents. And then the other trick is simply try to put the person in the right time and the right place. It's like a little bit of playing detective, and this works for any of your people in the family, whatever you know them or not, and you just need to try to find the right person. Okay. I have another question here about DNA. Let's try to group all those together. How many ancestors, how many generations back can we trace our ancestors? Well, mostly with this type of DNA that we're using, the autosomal DNA, you could go back up to 10 generations. You are actually still looking at pieces of DNA for up to 10 generations. Now, if you have enough matches and you all work together to build a family tree together with the records, you could be lucky and even go further than that. Another question about DNA I have here from Caroline. How do I make best use of the clusters report and somehow the designated icon? Okay, so first of all, and I have to admit I haven't used it yet, but in this corner of the match, you have the option to add the nodes. And here you can add any node that you want. Why I'm bringing this now? Because that node is shown on the auto cluster. So whenever you are looking at the clusters, you will see those nodes as well. Now, for the cluster, where do you find them? For those who are not familiar with the DNA, it's right here under the DNA tools. You will find the auto cluster. The auto cluster is beautiful, even with animation representation of your DNA matches. And you will need to generate this, and you generate and it will arrive to you by email. And in the email you have 3 files. The one that you're looking for is the HTML, and in here this is how the auto cluster is represented. So how do you do the best, or how do you make the best of this auto clusters report? Well, um, the same way I did it, meaning you test enough cousins in your family to be able to locate them in the same cluster. In this cluster number 2 is the orange cluster that I have here. And just for you to understand what is happening here, on the top and the side, I actually have the names of my matches. So all these names listed here should appear also up here and also on the side, meaning that all these people are matching among themselves. Okay, so once you have all this cluster and all these cousins, it's very easy for you to see that this is my ancestors coming from my Singer family. Some of them have different last names, and that will answer another question that I received today, but mostly are my Singers, and it means that whoever is in this cluster, it's also matching or descendants from my Zinger family. Okay, so Schumann, Murphy, all the ones in purple are those that I know, but Murphy and Schumann for sure are descendants of my Singers. So at least I already have a huge lead on where and how those people match each other. I only need to work to communicate, and this also is very important. You need to communicate with your matches and try to work together on family trees. In this case, I need to concentrate only on the ancestors from an grandfather or grandmother from my paternal side, and just try to build as far up as I can and try to have all the kids and all the grandkids and all the descendants of these groups. And it's my understanding that the nodes will also appear here to help you with the clusters. The reason why I don't show you my first cluster is because I am an Ashkenazi Jew, which means that in my family, and this is another question I remember seeing it, my family has a lot of endogamy, meaning that intermarriage between the family members. So here I will be more distant with the people, and it will be more difficult to find out how we are related. Okay, let me see if I have other questions here. Oh, I remember one about names. Yes, like females, especially names for females. How can you trace them after they come down of the ship, if I'm not mistaken, was exactly the question. Well, the only way will be, if not with the DNA test, and this is how a DNA test will help you, because Finkentals, for example, are two brothers who are the sons of a mother who is a singer herself. Now, she married, she had a new last name, and this is the last name that it will appear here. But if you see them on the family tree, you will see that their ancestors are also singers as well. Okay, so the only way of tracing females through the last names, or what, from the time that they're single and then go to marriage names, is of course marriage records, because the marriage record will be the last record where they will have a maiden name written in a piece of paper. So other than that is probably just trying to analyze DNA and building family trees with other people. Sometimes death certificates and sometimes the burials itself will point out to the maiden name. Not very common, not everybody, but that will be another option. So when you are looking for your females, just try to get as much paperwork as you can. Okay, I have another question from Jenny, and Jenny is definitely very new into this because she's saying that she purchased a DNA kit from MyHeritage. What are the first things I should do when I receive it? Okay, it's actually very easy, Jenny. What you need to do is going into the website that you will have instructions on the box to register your DNA kit. And then you need to open, and 1 second, I'm just trying to get here to the right page that I happen to know by heart. So you will need to get into this page, which again, myheritage.com/DNA/active, and you put the number that comes in the DNA kit in this page to activate the kit. Then we will ask you for a few details about yourself to make sure that we have everything to identify the kit with yourself. You should have, and if you haven't yet, you still are in time, you should have a family tree on MyHeritage. So it will be attached not only to you as a user, but also as your individual or location in the family tree. Then you simply take the swap, and it's a cheek swap, 30 seconds in each side, 30 minutes after or without food or drinks before that. You put everything in the envelope, you send it to our lab. The envelope has the address and everything, and in no time you should be receiving matches. Okay, so as you see, is quite easy. Let me see if I have any more DNA questions here. I don't see many here, so let's go with the other questions. Gerald is asking how, he says editing the tree, but that he says deleting. So if Gerald, you want to go to your family tree, give me 1 second. I will need to go here to the website, and I'm very happy that this is live, because I can actually show you everything on the MyHeritage website on the fly. So in order to edit the information of the individuals, if it's a person that you already have on the tree, there is a pencil, and you can click on the pencil and fill in the blanks of the form. If you have more events, you can either go into edit more right here and keep filling the blanks of the forms that you will see over there, or you can add a fact from the left panel right here, and that will also add different events for the person. If you need to delete a person in the tree, it's very easy. On the left panel, you go to the three dots and you select delete this person. From here, you can also remove the connection or connect it to an existing person. And I'm sorry if I'm going too fast, but no worries. We are recording this, and we will send you the link so you can go back and review the answers to the questions. Now, in order to delete a family tree, which was one of the specific questions here, you go under family tree and you look for manage trees. And I happen to have a lot of trees in this website that we use as a sample. And you see one of the options for every tree is delete. Just by clicking over there and confirming that this is really what you want to do, you can delete your tree with no problem. Like, it's your information, and you can do with it whatever you want. Okay, I just remember another question kind of related to DNA that somebody was asking. I'm gonna open this family tree to show. Somebody was asking, and please, I'm sorry that I remember the questions but not the names of everybody. What are direct ancestors? Okay, so direct ancestors will be the people who are directly related to a person. Let me try to find out a good option here, probably 3 generations. Okay, so Brian, in this case, okay, it's a direct ancestor from Joseph and Bepi. And Joseph and Bepi are direct ancestors from this couple here, Joseph, and this couple here, Bepi. Now, Brian is a relative of Deacon. Deacon is his uncle. So he's not a direct ancestor. Simon will be because it's his grandfather. Harold will be because it's his great grandfather. So direct ancestors are just ancestors, and they could be descendants, but are relatives that are directly related, meaning that it's the father or mother or a combination of fathers and mothers, and it doesn't need to be the father, 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 or the mother, 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 mother. You can combine the father of the mother of the father of the mother, and it's still going to be a direct ancestor. Okay, records, records, records. How can I delete people in my tree who I mistakenly added? This is Peggy. Peggy, I already said it, but again, I will go over it just for you. On the left panel, and you open the left panel by clicking on the card of the person, you go to more and you select delete. Now, here is the caveat. If I would like to delete Nora, for example, MyHeritage is going to tell me that I cannot delete it. Not because MyHeritage doesn't want you to delete, but because Nora is in the middle of a family tree. So you can actually delete only the lower person or the higher person, or you will need to disconnect the person that you want to delete from the family tree. It could have one connection. For example, Brian, in this case, I cannot delete him because he is the son of, but it's also spouse of. Now, Deborah, in the other hand, I can delete her with no other problem. She is related to one person, so deleting will break this relationship and will delete the person without any problem. But in order to delete any other person, I just need to make extra sure that there are not more than one relationship on the tree. Okay, well, Peggy, you're asking if MyHeritage is the best. I have to say yes, but that's because I love genealogy and I love the way MyHeritage does it. I think most of the people will agree with me. How can I transfer my family tree from MyHeritage to other places? Is asking Arvid. Okay, Arvid, very easy. Remember the manage trees right here? Okay, so here, instead of delete, in this case, you're going to use export to GEDCOM. And this will download a copy of your family tree, and then you can do whatever you want with them. In the same way, and I remember also the question the other way around, how do you upload your tree to MyHeritage? Very easy, very simple. It doesn't matter where do you have your tree. You will need to have it in a GEDCOM format, and every website should be able to download your GEDCOM from here. You go to family tree and you say import GEDCOM. Okay, very, very easy. Let's go a little bit into the records, and I'm going to go into the collection catalog, which is under the research tab right here, because I have questions of how can I find records from. And believe me, we receive like about a dozen of countries: Italian, England, European, Jewish records. I will go there in a second. Um, any countries or any places, any types of records. Well, is this easy? In the collection catalog, first of all, you have the collections and the categories that we put our collection. So if you're looking for birth records, they are under the birth, marriage, and death record collection. I can click there and I can open it and then see that the birth, marriage, and death, it has the birth records, the marriage records, the death records, civil registration, church records. All those are the ones related to birth, marriage, and death. So if I already opened that category, I will be able to look for birth records. I click birth records and you will get a list of all the birth records that MyHeritage has for you. And this is good for any other category that you would like to browse. Now, the other question regarding location is right here below the collections, which is the refined by location. Most of the countries I heard was European countries, although one I remember also from Canada, and we have Canada and the United States here separately. And inside, you will be able to filter even more by the provinces or states of those countries. Now, if it will be Europe, I'm going to click on Europe, and I'm going to see all the records that are related to Europe, but I can refine furthermore just by selecting the country that I am interested on. So if I would like to go into Italian records, I'm going to click Italy, and I'm going to see the collections that MyHeritage has for Italy. That is how you access the Italian records. Now, another very interesting question came from Sophia, and she asked, how does MyHeritage acquires new collections? Well, does MyHeritage buy collections? Yes. How can I contact? You're more than welcome, Sophia, to contact me or to send an email to education or even to webinars, and we will help you. But let me tell you a little bit more about the process, and the process could come from different ways. Sometimes collections are offered to MyHeritage and we acquire them, or we acquired only the images, or for example, on the collections that we have from Greece, the last ones that we released, we actually were involved on the digitization process, meaning that we had people, foots on the ground here in Greece, and we provided the equipment and other things, and the people over there digitized the images. We took care about the transcription of those and build them as databases. Another interesting partnership, and I am going to start answering the questions about the Jewish records. Let's take out Europe. We have a very nice partnership, for example, with the Israel State Archive, where they provided us with the images and we did the transcriptions. The Jewish Chronicles, for example, is a collection that we acquire entirely. There is another collection here. I'm not seeing it. Let me look at like this. Yes, the Israel Genealogy Research Association. It's also a very good partnership that MyHeritage has, and both organizations work together to bring records into the MyHeritage and the databases that we have. As you can see, you can type here whatever you want, and you will be able to find the collections that MyHeritage has for you. I normally like to see this by the last updated. And here you can see that our teams, although working from home, we haven't stopped. And we have a lot of collections that were added or updated actually today. Okay, you see, even news for me. And a couple of days, oh, we haven't said anything about this. So here you have your scoop, the New York City Marriage Index from 1866 to 1937, and the New York State death from the similar, 1957 to 1963. So you have here about 6 million records that are new to MyHeritage that just came in. Also, the Billion Graves collection that was updated just at the beginning of the year. Okay, let me see other questions that I have here. Joseph is asking how to properly enter sources reference into the family tree. Wow, Joseph, this is indeed a very advanced question, but I will give you the answer. Let's go first into the family tree and into the more information of this card right here where I am highlighting. Okay, this will prompt the menu with the advanced uh, facts that MyHeritage helps you to add. I normally go directly to the last one, all facts. Even though you have one before that says source citations, this will only allows you or helps you to create source citations or to manage the source citations. Answering your question, how do you properly enter source reference into the family tree? I am going to say that, let's say birth, okay? I have the 1907 birth and I got that information from the birth certificate, okay? Of course, I'm making this up right now on the go. So you will go here in the middle where it says add a source citation. I click there and it's going to open in the same fact, exactly where I was, the source citation area. If you already have the source, let's say that the source is the Netherlands civil birth, I already used this in the past. So I can select it from here with no problem. Or I can just add a new source and fill in the blanks of this form where you're going to be asked for the title, the author, publisher, a description. You can even add photos, and this is very recommendable when you have the image of the document to be able to see the image close to the source citation and to the record. Once you have created the new source, you will be able to select it here. And then we will prompt you to type or to copy the citation text, meaning whatever text is coming to the from the record, I'm sorry, and you should copy it textually as it says on that record. Then if the record is available on a website, you can put here the URL. In this case, I have one in the memory of my computer. You have a confidence, like if this is secondary evidence, questionable evidence, direct and primary evidence, if the person gave it to you, if you find it in a record that was filled by the person or the person, or this is a duplicate or a copy of the original record. And finally, the date. And I normally put here the date of today, the date that I am filling this source citation. So I will know that it was that day when I added to the tree. Now, don't forget, after you do all this, that you need, Joseph, to save and close this window if you have finished. Okay, that was kind of a very advanced, but I hope that you will becoming better genealogists as we go. I see a few questions here in the panel about JetComs, and I already talked about how to import, how to export. And Susan is asking if the information is maintained originally as it is. And yes, Susan, it should. JetCom is kind of a standard on the industry, and we should be able to recognize all the tags. So there shouldn't be any problem. In the case that they are, you will receive a report of that, and no matter what, if we cannot find the right place for the fact, we will at least write the information in the notes, and you will be able to see it over there. Okay. What is the process to manage the DNA of someone else? Is asking Alice. Alice, very easy. Under DNA, you have manage DNA kits. And I'm going to risk to go there because there should be only one DNA kit right there. Exactly. And is Brian Jansen's DNA. So in order for you to manage the other person's DNA kit, you need to have the activation code. You need to activate the other person's DNA, and goes without saying, but I will say it anyhow, you need to have the consent of the other person to manage their DNA. Now, what this is going to allow you is that on the features of the DNA, and let me make sure that no private information is revealed. Okay, me and my mom is fine. You will be able here to see a drop-down menu just below the name of the main person, and you will be able to select any other DNA kits or any other information that you may be managing. One more from the live audience here. Claudia is asking, how can I keep restricted the access to my family tree? Okay, very good, Claudia. Let's go to the family tree for that. And let me tell you that MyHeritage by default will privatize all the information from living individuals. All dead individuals are going to be public. If you want to privatize that, if you want to restrict the information and what and who sees what, you need to go into the settings wheel right here on the family tree upper right corner. Go to more actions, which is the third option in this menu, and go to tree privacy settings. In here, and you probably are going to see this very big because I have many trees and many websites in my account, but in here you will be able to go over each one of those preferences about your personals, the DNA, the cookies, the access, who can have access to your family tree, who can have access to your content, who can do what. You have over there all the options on how to manage the privacy and who can do what with your family tree. Okay, another interesting question that I have here from Dawn is, how do you convince someone that the information they have input to MyHeritage is incorrect? Well, good luck with that, Don. It may be difficult. This is more a philosophical question than any other. If you have records to prove that your details are the correct one, you should definitely contact the other person and show them the records and explain. Now, here is my point of information. I have 3 records, official records, for my grandfather, and each one has a different birth date. How do I know which one is the correct and which ones are the incorrect? Well, unfortunately, up till today, that is something that I have not been able to solve. And it probably will get you into such a discussion with the other person, because the other person can bring you sources and documents showing that he is the one who is right. Now, what do I do? I use here in the facts, and I'm going to go to the birth facts, okay, in this case, you see how I can add a birth, but I can also add an alternate birth. And I have actually for my grandfather a date which I consider is the correct one as the birth, and the other two, just because they are coming from documents, and I know that at one point they were used and they were legal, I have them as an alternate. In that way, I don't have conflicts with anybody. I am reflecting all my genealogy research done properly, and I have the source citations for that. Okay, but eventually, like, you will not be able to convince the other person if the other person says that they have the truth in their hands. That will be um, an issue that will not be resolved ever. Ernest, your question is very similar. How do you deal with conflict dates as to don't seem to have any resource to validate them? Well, again, if this is family lore, I just copy it on the web, on the family tree. I use a source citation and I say where did I got it, and I keep it over there just in case. Okay. Danny is asking, how do you manage different trees on one family side without duplications and too many records and smart matches? Okay, Danny, I already show you to manage your trees here under family tree. Unfortunately, if you will have people duplicated in both trees, there is nothing we can do about it. And I'm referring, for example, if you have your father's tree and your mother's tree, and you have both those trees separate, which I definitely not suggest you to do it, but some people like to have each parent or each grandparent or each spouse separate. You are going to have duplicate people on the descendants of those individuals, and there is nothing you can do to overcome that. Now, you can, something I don't know if you noticed before, but you can jump between family trees just by clicking on the arrow if you have more than one, right here in the upper right corner. And when you go to the smart matches, the smart matches are going to be duplicated, unfortunately. And that is because you will have the same people over and over again. And the record matches will happen same wise. You see, for example, perfect example on my screen, I have Michael Berg in two family trees. And you can see that it's the same person, and both got matches, and nothing I can do because the person is duplicated and I wanted to have it that way. You will need to deal with the matches. Now, one thing that I will tell you and everybody else regarding the matches, and I do know that a lot of people are getting matches of individuals that you don't care or you don't want. Well, you have a few things that you can do. First, you can just click here and reject the match in this upper right corner, although that is not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is under more actions and say ignore this person. How did I got up till here? Let's go one step back. I am in matches, in this case by people. This is the guy that I don't want to see any more matches for him, and it will work both for smart matches or for record matches. You go into the review matches, and you will go to more actions and said ignore this person. MyHeritage will not bother you anymore with matches for that person. So that is a way to deal with duplicate matches or non-desirable matches. Oh, Wayne, I found you related the question with the direct descendants. It was descendants, not ancestors. So again, direct descendants means that is the direct people going down from a particular generation. So you see those lines. This individual here, Shelley, and Harold are direct descendants of Harry and Tara, and also Nora here, and also Simon here, and also Deacon and Beppy here. There are direct descendants from these people in the top. It's just simply going down the line. Katie is asking, I was adopted. Does my DNA results have names of family that was, since I have no records of such of with my birth name, but, and the question is cut it. Katie, I'm not sure, but going back to the DNA, yes, you will get DNA matches with other people. Try to analyze and to contact those best matches and try to find out where your parents fit on the puzzle. Give me 1 second. Rosemary is asking for Israeli or Palestinian records from the 1930s. Remember, Rosemary, I show you IGRA, I show you the collection catalog with the naturalization collection. There are more Jewish, Israel, and Palestinian records coming to MyHeritage before the end of the year, or so stay tuned. Ellen is asking, what are the best softwares for building and mastering your family tree that can be easy, archived, downloaded, and also upload elsewhere? Okay, so I will have to go with my favorite, which is the FTB, the Family Tree Builder. How did I get here? Very easy, myheritage.com/FTB. And this will allow you to download the Family Tree Builder, which is a free software that MyHeritage has for you for both Windows and Mac. You will be able to manage with more advanced properties in the software than what you have on the website, and you will be able to synchronize between your mobile, your website, and the software. In order to put it in elsewhere, as you are asking, you will need to export a JetCom and then upload or take it wherever you want. Let me see one of the ones I have here. I transferred my family tree to another company. Yeah, a lot of photos to be moved, but they don't show. Okay, so Ron, the question with the photos and the JetComs is that JetComs only have text information. If you export a JetCom from the website, the JetCom should have the URL of the image. When you upload a JetCom, if you are doing it to a website, even if you export it from a software and you have the photos on a folder next to the JetCom file, the website will not know to take those images. So it's only Jet comes from cloud to cloud or website to website, or from website to software, because then the software or the other website will be able to read those URLs and retrieve you the images. Alice is asking, when you create a JetCom file, does the privatized information stay private? No, Alice. Whatever information you have in your tree will go to your JetCom. So your JetCom is going to be a full tree with no privatization whatsoever. The privatization is done by the tree. Now, you know what? Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you very fast and very easy the privatization on MyHeritage, because I am going to take my family tree from my website, my personal website, and I'm going to paste it in this window here. And in this window, I am not the same person as I am. A little bit complicated, right? Well, this is the family tree of Daniel Horowitz. And right now I am Daniel Smith, as you can see here. So Daniel Smith has no access to Daniel Horowitz tree. And you can see that all the living individuals have been privatized, all the dead individuals are shown, but when I export to JetCom, I will get all the information of all these people, because this privatization is being done by the website, by MyHeritage, not by the information on the tree. Okay. Let me see. We know that endogamy occurs in population due to small populations. Jose. Well, not necessarily, Jose. The endogamies happened after 1900s as well, for multiple reasons, and it's still happening today. Believe me, Mennonites or Quakers, all Amish in Pennsylvania, for example, they marriage among themselves. They are still doing endogamy. So it's not just long time ago history. It is something that it's still happening today. Okay. By mistake, I got a duplicate website on my computer while trying to get the family builder. How do I remove it from the computer in order to download the correct account and sync? Ellen. Okay, Ellen, I will suggest you to send an email to our support department and just tell them which account you want to be deleted because it's a duplicate, and they will be able to help you. Otherwise, you can try to go here under your name to my sites, and I don't know even how many sites I have here. Oh, okay, I have quite a few. And then you can go into the site that you want to delete, and there is an option under your site settings to delete a site. Okay. Okay, so I don't have access to this website. Interesting. Okay, yeah, we are hitting already the 60-minute mark, and we still have a lot of questions that we haven't been able to answer. So we may consider very easy to do another session of this Ask the Experts VIP. We will let you know, and we will definitely invite you all here. But I have to thank you all again for being here with us today. A few announcements. If you want to keep learning about MyHeritage and about genealogy, I would like to recommend you the Legacy FamilyTreeWebinars.com page, where you can find live webinars from MyHeritage as well as the recorded sessions that we have done in the past. And I'm going to put right now that link in the chat so you can have it right there very easy. The other thing is that we have these regulars as the experts on Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and you are more than welcome to join me and this week or this month other experts that we are bringing. The August program is still in the building. Probably we will take some of your questions, and we will have Ask the Experts sessions over there. Those are just 30-minute sessions, so they're very fast, and you will get your answers with no problem. Definitely, I don't need to tell you about the knowledge base because you are already using it. You are already registered and enjoying all the information that we have over there for you. So, nothing else from my side. Just to let you know that you can keep sending your questions to education@myheritage.com. Suggestions for future subjects to address or information material that you would like to see on the website or on a webinar like this. And yes, this webinar was recorded, and very soon we hope to send you the link, and only to you, because this session was exclusive to all of you who have registered with us in the knowledge base. So what you can do is not to send the link of the recording to other people, but send the link to the education.myheritage.com to other people so they can also benefit from the knowledge and register themselves and learn for themselves. If you need the URL, right there on the chat, although you should have it on your bookmarks and knowing it by heart. Everybody, thank you very much. Please, please stay safe. Take care of yourself and your family. And why not take this extra time that we have today to do a little bit more of genealogy. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful week. Goodbye, everybody.